This is Zygorski. It's Wednesday, June 22nd, 2011. The time is about 16:46 hours, or 4:46 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm here at a site of a fatal collision involving a pickup truck that reportedly lost directional control. The driver did, and it was reported that the passenger of the pickup truck was ejected and sustained fatal injuries. There are 3 young males in the pickup truck. The fatally injured passenger was 17. First, I want to introduce that the vehicle was traveling toward the north, or behind me, toward the roadway behind me. And what you may see, if I just move away a little bit, is that you have a hill crest is where we're standing at, and this hill crest is about 350 meters south of the point of impact with the tree. So you can't see the point of impact right now, but we will get there eventually. So what is the reason why this might have occurred? Who knows? They may not have been paying attention. They may have been going too fast. You kind of have to consider all facts. One of the interesting things is to consider whether they were somehow interfered with by other traffic. And for example, there is a driveway here to a private residence, and there's also some tire marks, some acceleration tire marks that you should be able to see here in the middle of the roadway, indicating that that there was a vehicle that backed out of this driveway, and then as it got roughly in the middle of the road and was diagonal to the road, the person accelerated. So let me just show you that evidence. I might indicate too that although this collision happened only 24 hours ago, about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, it rained fairly hard last night, and so the evidence was aged by this rain, and so it makes it a little more challenging to find the evidence and discuss it. But this will be interesting from that sense that I can guarantee that we will be able to find some of the evidence. So now we're progressing toward the area of impact, and we're just walking down the middle of this gravel road, and what you see is something fairly typical. These rural roads have these 3 patches in them where, I'm kind of walking in the middle of the center patch where, opposing vehicles will use the center of the road to drive. And so here I am. I'm standing on that bare patch down here where the opposing vehicle's tires are crossing. Of course, we have a patch here where I'm standing, which is filled with gravel. And then you got a bare patch, and then again you have another bare patch over here. So that's fairly typical, and that's what's happened here. And what happens is then the coefficient of friction of this surface changes. The coefficient of friction is that thing which provides an aggressive force, tire force, that keeps your vehicle stable. And if it's a high coefficient of friction, obviously you're more stable, and low, then obviously you may lose control. And so this gravel here is bad in that way, and that reduces the coefficient of friction. And you may be riding on a fairly solid surface here in the bare patch, but if for some reason you move over into the gravel, now all of a sudden you have a reduction in the coefficient of friction, and steering inputs, braking can cause you to lose control. Now, I hope I've indicated here that these cones are 25 meters apart. This one that I'm pointing to on the east road side is 300 meters away from the point of impact at the tree and way over there. So now we've progressed to a location that's almost 200 meters from the area of impact, and Now what you should see is we have yet another driveway. This time we have a driveway on the east side and on the west side. And again, same sort of thing. There is the potential that a driver could come out from either this east side or from the west side and interfere with our pickup truck that's traveling toward me. And so we would have to take that into consideration as well, because the vehicle could then change its direction, its position, lateral position on the in the road, and of course go into that gravel where it initially might have been on the bare area. If we stop here for a moment, what I've done is I've positioned two larger cones on the west roadside at about, you might see it there between 100 and 75 meters from the tree. And as a matter of fact, my car is positioned at the 75 meter cone, so you can see it's just a little closer than where my car is parked. And those two cones indicate where there is some obvious yawing, marking, tire marks from yaw. And so we know the vehicle was over there, near that west edge of the road. And then it came back to the east. By that time it was out of control, obviously, and then we'll see it was sliding sideways, and it entered into a roll before it hit the tree. So one thing you want to take a look at is maybe what is the slope of this road. You want to make sure that it's not excessive. And so what I typically do is I take a little carpenter's level, which I have over here, just as an example. I've just placed it here on the roadside where I'm not going to interfere with traffic, and yet I'm going to get a rough measurement. And this 4-foot carpenter's level is being anchored by a piece of tape, which is roughly 2 inches high. You can see there it's maybe even just a little more than 2 inches high. You can see the little bubble is kind of in the middle, so the carpenter's level is level, if you want to say that, horizontal. And so the slope is obviously a drop of just over 2 inches in a run of about 4 feet. So we can get a slope for that, and you would want to see whether the slope is changing dramatically or whether it's excessive. I can tell you now that although it is steep, I wouldn't expect that this would reach the maximum that is allowable.